The best and most beautiful things in the world aren't ones that we can touch or see, but rather the ones that we feel in our hearts. Helen Keller. Like how Belle was pretty, but that wasn't why the Beast loved her. No, it was for her personality. I mean, yes, the sentiment is sweet, but I can't be the only skeptic of it, especially when society imposes new contradictions on the word beauty almost every single day. Like, you've got to be skinny but still curvaceous, and those curves can't actually add any real fat onto your body. Your arms toned but your chest still full, your skin bright yet still clear. Oh, and if your hair isn't blonde, you may as well forget it. What I just listed out were not a list of SAT questions ranked in order of impossibility, but rather the actual beauty parameters that a consumer society hold us all by. And so, Helen Keller truly did say it best. As somebody who didn't have the gift of sight, what was in her heart was the most important thing to her. But not only do we have eyes, we have fat wallets and even fatter anxieties, both of which corporations are ever ready to exploit. In fact, Judy Shield, a psychologist from NYU, goes as far as to say that right now, beauty standards are actually the highest cause of body dysmorphia and eating disorders in the current generation. So, how did we get here? How did we as a society turn beauty from something that was celebrated into something that now brings with it immense dread and pressure? So today, together, let's understand what it means to be beautiful by first dusting off our knowledge of the shared history of a colonizer mindset, by next putting on an understanding of how corporations exploit us, by lastly looking in the mirror and figuring out what this means for beauty in our future. Now, Amira Adawi, founder of the Beauty Well Project, writes in her book that colonizers actually went to Latin America, Asia, and even Africa and spread the word that white was the best. This is because dark-skinned farmers were almost always the ones out in the fields. Therefore, the people sitting inside equated to that of a higher class, the class of beauty. In fact, even when the colonizers left, they left behind a legacy, the legacy of whiteness. And I know what you're thinking, no, this isn't Whole Foods' new motto. Rather, it's a culture of white supremacy that still persists in several regions around the world today. In fact, this is becoming even more problematic because right now, such a culture isn't just invading our physical practices, but rather colonizing our minds. Such a colonizer mindset has perpetuated itself throughout generations. In fact, we can still observe it in blaring clarity. We can see this when fashion magazines almost up until recently were exclusively white, when foundation ranges offer 10 shades for white women but only 2 for people of color, and the continuous sale of skin lightening creams. In fact, the colonizer mindset preys on the insecurities of tens of millions of people simply because they don't live up to ancient beauty standards. And now that we've established that there's millions of people who don't like their looks, we must ask the question that all capitalists do bright and early every morning. How do we make money off of this? Throughout history, capitalism has sowed the seeds of insecurity by telling all of us that true beauty is only available to those who buy the product. In fact, the NIH finds that almost all that we know about our bodies is nothing more than marketing that beauty brands do to make a quick buck. In fact, we've seen this in fashion retailers that we all know, from Prada to PacSun, telling us that their clothes will either make us hot for this season or cover up those disgusting insecurities that nobody wants to see. In fact, Eugene Scheller, the creator of L'Oreal, exposed his marketing campaign in 2017 by summing it up as, "Tell people they're ugly, smelly, and unattractive. The key, though, is to do it subtly." Following Scheller's approach, psychological manipulation is actually the foundation of beauty marketing. In fact, this is ideal to sell products because multi-billion-dollar marketing campaigns actually allow fashion companies to penetrate every single aspect of a consumer's life, and from there, send them daily reminders of how much worse off they are without their product, how they'll never be as happy as the models in their ads, and how they'll forever stay a depressed, out-of-shape gremlin if they don't buy the new Nikes for the low, low price of $100. And so, these products and this marketing is selling something far more dangerous than the lure of being attractive. They're selling the facade of true happiness. And lastly, in understanding the journey of where beauty is going, it's critical we acknowledge the future of our fashion industry. In fact, National Geographic stated in 2020 that right now, beauty is more accepting of different colors, sizes, characteristics, and abilities than ever before. With worldwide communication like Instagram and Twitter becoming more prominent, brands are forced to listen to customers about what we want. In fact, models like Jamie Brewer, Tess Holliday, and Winnie Harlow, all models that would have been denied access to the industry a mere 20 years ago, are now the faces of brands like Fabletics, Paul Mitchell, and even Pandora. and allowing all kinds of people to represent brands, society is making it more and more acceptable to be exactly who you are. And like Helen Keller put it, make beauty what touches your heart. And so today, in understanding how the concept of beauty has evolved throughout time, we've talked about the colonizer impact, the impact of corporations, and even going as far as to explain the future of the fashion industry. And so in looking to understand why we don't live in Helen Keller's rosy world anymore, we must look past Belle's behavior and come to realize that maybe beauty is the real beast.